Hello and welcome to the Zonal Weakness, brought to you by Gono Football Fantasy and powered by Fantasy Football Scout. And look who's back. It's Bethany. Welcome. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yes, it feels ages ago, but yes,
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. Last, I think we met in Gameweek 26. So that was quite a while back. I think that's when the chaos of what you call it, the assistant manager chip was coming to its climax, I would rather call it. People were more into Moyes, Arteta, and Glasner, and Potter, and I don't know who else. Yeah, I forgot. But anyway, that was it. And then there was the long break, and then Gameweek 27 and 28 in between. So yeah, glad to have you. Glad to have you. So 29 is starting. It's a blank game week. First question first. Are you playing a free hit?
I'm not playing my free hit. No, there's never really been a plan for me to play my free hit. I just think we know so little still about what's to come, about those kind of blank game weeks and doubles that are yet to come, that I'd rather keep it for then. So at the moment, I've got 10, I think, including Dango. He's obviously not a starter anymore. So my original plan was just to move what like do one not do anything and just go with 10. But actually, I've got 3 free transfers. So my plan now is to do Dango to 𝐙𝐿𝐴 and to do Isaac, who I was going to hold on to. I was going to carry Salah, Isaac, Munoz, and Konaté through. But I think I'm going to take the plunge after having not a very good week last week. I'm going to try and make up for it and at least have 11 players out. So I'm going to do Isaac to Evan-Nielsen and go there. I'm not going Man City at all. So that will either make or break my season, no doubt. How about you? Are you
Not really playing the free hit. I think I have more or less 10 players already. I'm just planning to bring Foden or Mamouche. Maybe I just take a -4 to bring in Bruno, perhaps, but that's the only change I'm thinking. That's in place of Palmer. He's been disappointing, especially keeping him for the Southampton and Leicester game, but he delivered nothing and then missed a penalty. So yeah, it was a bit of a shocker of a game week. I don't know why, because had more or less all the. It was a very template team, and yet I ended up getting a red arrow by missing the safety score by 6 points, I think. So I don't know. I think it was mostly the Crystal Palace and the Nottingham Forest players that did the damage, right? Because the only thread that I saw in live FPL was Gabriel, and he ended up giving only 2 points. So yeah, still. Anyway, let's look forward, and I'm sure there's interesting game weeks are coming. 10 game weeks are left. So interesting game weeks are coming, and with doubles and blanks, and there's uncertainty, and all the chips are going to fly around. And starting this week. So here's the zonal weakness for blank game week 29. And if you haven't followed and really liked or subscribed to any of our channels on Facebook or Twitter or on YouTube, please do so now, because we are producing regular contents. And all the stats that you see are taken from the Fantasy Football Scout members area. You get a click in the link in the description below and you get a 40% discount. And yeah, there you go. You'll have access to all this data, including the zonal data. Yeah, but you need to then figure it out. So this is the transfer review, and we're going to start with that. In game week 25, of course, we suggested Kluivert and Dango, but how they performed, I'll leave it to you, Bethany. Over to you then.
Yeah, so obviously Bournemouth have been doing really well across the season, really. Been really attacking, but also quite good defensively. And yeah, both of these were looking really good when we suggested them a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, only really Kluivert has continued his form, getting 5.5 points per match, whereas Dango obviously down to just 3 points per match, losing his starting position in game week 28. So Evan-Nielsen is now back. A lot of us went for Dango, so I've actually owned both of these over this time. And a lot of us went for him because he was playing out of position, so he was a midfielder in the game, but playing up front with Evan-Nielsen out. And I did hope that maybe he'd be able to squeeze back into midfield and get to play alongside Evan-Nielsen, but it doesn't look like that way. Evan-Nielsen's come back and Dango's been put on the bench. So for me, this week, I was hoping to be able to play Dango as one of my 11. Obviously, with the blank, we've not got many to choose from, but I think I'm going to have to sell him now. And I think other people are going to have to do the same as well. He can always get points off the bench, so if you really do want to keep your transfers, etc. But if you could transfer somebody in and that maybe has a good game the week after as well. Somebody like 𝐙𝐨𝐧𝐚𝐥 who I'm going for, I think it's time to move him out. 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐵𝐵 is still a really good option though.
Yeah, I think 𝐸𝑎𝑛 has done the damage for Dango owners, to be honest. And it was quite indicative already, and there was already the speculation within the FPL managers as to whether he's going to take his place or not. And it turns out to be the speculation was right. So let's look into the blank game week 29, now that we are aware of which fixtures are missing. And of course, the Palmer captain Salah is not going to be there anymore. So that's going to be another interesting week. So yeah, over to you with a little bit of white here and there and a bit of green here and there. So I'll let you to do the kind of the discussion and take us through and deep dive. Over to you, Bethany.
Yep. So first up, we've got Forest, and those standing out here are Chris Wood. I think he's a must for anybody, whether you're on free hit or not. This week, we know he can get a hat trick. And I think a game like Ipswich would be perfect for him. Obviously, matches up with the zonal, ranked 4th. The zonal weakness down that middle for him, and 𝐙𝐨𝐴𝐵𝐵 there as well. So again, if you're looking to invest in midfield, maybe you want a 4th or 5th midfielder going forward, 𝐙𝐴𝐵𝐵𝐵 has been really consistent over the last few weeks. Yeah, I really like both them. If you want to go a little bit different, if you're on free hit, I don't mind Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's being quite consistent as well, going under the radar. And equally, obviously, a lot of us have got Aina or Milenkovic. So if you're not on free hit, they're great. But if you are on free hit, I don't mind a Williams. Obviously, he's coming out good on the zonal. Those chances conceded down the right flank for him could be a really nice differential punt. Then we've got Wolves, and I think we're all a bit confused with where to go with Wolves now. A lot of us were looking at Kuna for this week, whatever we were on, whether we're on free hit or not. And obviously he's out with that red card ban. So his direct replacement would be Larson, who comes out well here down centre, ranked 1st for chances conceded at Southampton, or Hwang. And then obviously you've got Ait-Nouri, who is great in defence, could get a clean sheet against Southampton, but also loves pushing forward and doesn't really play like a defender at all. So I think the thing here really is whether or not you're on free hit. I'm not sure I want to invest in Wolves players going forward, especially with Kuna coming back. We're not really sure what that front line will look like with Larson and Hwang going forward once Kuna's back. And I just genuinely don't trust them to keep clean sheets and things going forward. So I like them this week if you're on a free hit, but I don't think I'd be using transfers to move them in. Then we've got Bournemouth, who we've already spoken a little about today. Sadly, not much white coming from the Bournemouth game, which is a bit frustrating for those of us who are maybe doubled or tripled up already. It's Tavernier and Brooks who are looking good, which is not the players that any of us own. But it is worth noting that Evan-Nielsen and Kluivert are, and Semenyo and Kirkers all come out ranked 7th. So while they don't fit into that white category, they are still pretty good options this week. Then we've got Brentford, and the player really standing out here is Visser, ranked 2nd for chances conceded down the centre and ranked 5th for headed chances conceded. So Visser I really like, both on free hit, and obviously quite a few of us already own if we're just pushing through without the free hit. But I think quite a lot of free hitters will go without, because they'll go for like your Haalands and people, and they might miss out on Visser. So that might be quite nice for those of us who aren't on free hit there. It's nice to see. Next up, we've got Man United. And it's the players that are standing out here are Garnacho and Mazraoui. Again, I think these are players that I would only go to on a free hit. I don't know that I'd want to be stuck with Man United players long term in my team, because they're not being super consistent other than Bruno. And he's not particularly standing out here. So yeah, nice, might be nice players for you to have if you're on a free hit, or if you're planning on wildcarding very soon after. But otherwise I wouldn't want to keep hold of them long term. Fulham, I think Fulham are probably one of the teams that nobody's really talking about at the moment. No one's really talking about bringing them in either on free hit or not. But yeah, they're looking like really nice options for the zonal. Robinson is usually consistent. He did get that benching though, so that's probably put a bit of doubt in people's minds, but I think he's still a good option. Similarly, Iwobi and Jimenez are always nice attacking options going forward, so could be some nice differentials there if you want to go there. Everton have looked like a completely different team recently, doing really well both in attack and in defence. So I do really like Beto. I think if you want a forward moving forward, maybe you want somebody on your free hit so you can afford Haaland. Beto's a really nice option third, being really consistent. Or you might look for somebody like Mykolenko in defence, who has the potential of getting a clean sheet against West Ham, but also like he's got his first attacking return now. So we might see more from him there. And then finally, we've got Leicester, and I'm just not going to advise anyone going there, I'm afraid, whether you're on a free hit or not. Man United aren't great at the moment, but I just don't think Leicester are either. So I think anything could happen in that game, and it's really difficult to predict. If you absolutely had to, it'd be Vardy. But no, avoid for me.
Right. Thanks, Bethany. I think the last message, avoid, is a clear indication. I'm not going to dwell into it. Sorry. Yeah. Let's move to the next slide then, and let's see what stands out. Well, this doesn't look really promising. So, yeah, I'll leave it to you again. This is...
Yeah. Very interesting.
Go on.
Obviously, a lot of people have been looking at going for Man City. I've never been one of those people. I've just fallen out with them this season. I just don't think they're consistent enough. And as somebody who's not on free hit, I definitely didn't want to be bringing them into my team long term. But it's definitely interesting now to see the zonal. That makes me feel a lot better about my decision. Nobody's standing out here. In fact, chances conceded down the centre from Brighton. Haaland's location 19th, so not great there. Mamouche obviously got the benching when we just can't really trust his minutes. So for me personally, I'd be avoiding Man City, and this has just made me feel better about that decision. I do think Brighton have been playing really well recently, and this backs that up. But obviously, I think people on a free hit might want to choose something to go differently. Yeah, go at your own risk, I think there. But I won't be recommending it. Then next up we've got Brighton, and again, it doesn't look like the easiest of games for Brighton either, against Man City. So I was looking at players like Minter and Mitoma at first to replace Dango instead of Gibbs-White, but Gibbs-White obviously comes out much better on the zonal weakness. I still don't mind them. Obviously, Mitoma is looking good there. Without the White, he's still ranked 7th, so that's maybe where I'd go. But otherwise, I think, again, if you've got them, you need to play them this week. But I don't think I'd be choosing them particularly on a free hit or using a transfer to bring them in this week. West Ham, yeah, again, I just think they're not consistent enough, and nothing's standing out from the zonal. I know a few people have brought in Bowen leading up to this so that they could play him this week, which is fine. Or Wan-Bissaka is a real differential there, but nothing standing out here. So again, I'd be avoiding West Ham. Then we've got Ipswich. Again, not someone I'd really recommend. Delap would be the only one I'd even vaguely consider. Ranked 4th for headed chances conceded and 8th for chances conceded down the centre. But again, they'd be an avoid for me this week. Arsenal and Chelsea play each other in the London derby. So again, nobody standing out here. A lot of us are already invested there, and I think that's fine. Anything can happen in a derby game. They're often slightly different to other games and more open. But yeah, I don't think I'd be buying anybody this week, but feel free to play your players like Palmer, like Gabriel that you already own. Then we've got Spurs. Son is the only one really standing out here. He didn't start last week, but came off and got 2 returns. So again, maybe a differential on a free hit, but I wouldn't be using transfers long term because you just don't know what that situation is, whether he's going to get those minutes and starting or not. And then last up, we have Southampton. And it's Southampton. Just avoid.
Right. All right. So I think that makes it pretty interesting as to people who are really free hitting and who are not free hitting. And I think this game week, how it's going to turn out, it's not really as we anticipated, or maybe as we anticipated, it might not really turn out the way it is. But anyway, let's go into the team of the week and let's see who makes it for the Blank Game 29, because this is probably a team that would reflect the, what you call it, the free hit team. But again, free hit could be totally different because this is only based on the zonal data, not in anything else. But yeah, those going for free hit can pick from this. So over to you.
Yeah, I think it's nice seeing some of my players in there. I've got quite a few of these, so that's nice to know that I'm covering some of the free hit teams without using my free hit. Yeah, I think the standouts for me are Wood, Visser, Kluivert, 𝐴𝐸, Gibbs-White. I think those are all the kind of players that, as well as the zonal suggesting they're good this week, they've also been quite consistent with XG, with actually returning points recently. I think those are the most consistent. I think players like Larson, Garnacho, Mazraoui, Ait-Nouri, I really like on a free hit team, but I'm not sure I'd be bringing them into my own team if you haven't got that free hit there. I think they're a bit risky going forward.
What's interesting really from this team is that there is no Man City. And I think it's rightly picked. And I think we kind of already, you kind of touched upon it already. But yeah, I think there was a lot of hype about Man City, Marmoush, Haaland, and, people going for the captaincy and stuff. But yeah, I think this team reflects.
That's the interesting thing is who is everyone captaining? Because I think it's going to be so split. I think if those people who have gone for a Man City player like Haaland, I think they're going to captain him. That's why they brought him in. Obviously, I'm not going there. So I'm currently split. It's currently on Wood. Because we can get that hat trick. The zonal suggests it, but I don't mind Kluivert. He's my vice captain at the moment. Visser obviously looks quite good. Even tempted to go for someone like 𝐴𝐸, who can get kind of both defensive returns, some bonus points when they keep a clean sheet, and has the potential to get an attacking return too. So yeah, there's a few different options this week. So I think it'll be quite nice to maybe not have many players over 100% expected ownership, and kind of be a bit different.
It's going to be a crucial decision, really, captaincy this week with no Salah and people going, and as you rightly pointed out, it's going to be split. So yeah. Anyway, it is what it is, and let's see. Thank you so much, Bethany, for joining us, of course, today, and thank you, audience, for tuning in. Do keep supporting and do keep sharing the video. We are still not getting as many views as we thought we would, but yeah, we still appreciate the amount of views that is coming in, and it's steadily growing. So we appreciate that. But thank you, Bethany, for joining us, and I will see you again, I think, in Gameweek 31 or 32, because we are not doing anything in 30, by the way, because of the Eid vacation and everything that comes along. So audience, just remember, there will be no zonal weakness for Gameweek 30, and we'll be back in 31. So perhaps you might be coming back in 32, just ahead of the double Gameweek. But until then, take care. Bye-bye.